I would expect him to play Warlock, like Gnimsh Zulok, of course, and not a Handlock. So this might be a potential counter for Cypher.
Well, we know Gnimsh as a Rush player, but as we know him too as a mind gamer, so everyone expects him to play Rush, and he's not gonna play Rush because of that. And he's starting with a Merca Rogue against a Control Warrior here. Pretty well, it's an interesting matchup. If the Control Warrior manages to kill everything early, so if there's a 3-drop, he kills it. 4-drop, he kills it. Auctioneer, he kills it. And then he accumulates tons of armor. The Control Warrior is going to win, but, well, maybe. Gnimsh is just faster, gets out his stuff, gets out everything he needs, and accomplishes the Merca Rogue rush he needs.
The Miracle Rogue Rush. I think the matchup is in favor of the Control Warrior overall, but there's definitely a chance for Gnimsh to make something happen. And yeah, if you play a Rogue, you want to start second because you need this coin, and he gets the coin SI7 agent combo, which is super strong, especially early.
It's annoying now for Cypher. He has an Acolyte of Pain in his hand, so he could just drop it, but it will get killed instantly. He can also go Slam Whirlwind. That would be 2 cards to get rid of one SI7 agent. That would hurt quite a lot. Oh, there, we might just see that Slam Whirlwind play to... You don't want to get 1 damage you don't need to get. So minion damage is damage you don't need to get. Damage you're definitely getting is shifts, eviscerates, whatever, but you really want to diminish that amount of damage.
Yeah, and we see Gnimsh places Earthen Ring Farseer without the healing value just to get another minion out. He wants to be aggressive early.
Good job for Cypher getting his Fury War Axe. He really needs that against a Merca Rogue to get rid of those 2 or 3, 3 drops that are coming with 3 HP. And for Gnimsh now, he might have, well, a Salnus in his hand, he might have a Blade Flurry, Fan of Knives, whatever, another SI7 agent, but that's not going to, well, get him off further. He kind of needs his, as I said, his Auctioneer now.
Yeah, he definitely needs his Auctioneer. Oh, we see a Shield Slam. So 2 potential plays, either the Cruel Taskmaster with the Acolyte of Pain, or he goes for the Shield Slam on Salnus. But Shield Slam on Salnus, something you don't really want to do. You want to keep it to get rid of the Auctioneer, for example.
Absolutely, and I would say we're going to see Taskmaster incoming plus Acolyte of Pain. No, he armors up to get now those 4 armor he needs to kill instantly the Auctioneer if it's upcoming. It will be only an Azure Drake upcoming, but still, that minion can get Shield Slam too, and it turns already out to be okay for Cypher here, since he will go on 6 armor next turn if he armors up.
And he plays Azure Drake, Gnimsh plays Azure Drake in a Miracle Rogue. That's not super common. You can play it, but we see Azure Drakes more and more often in those Malygos Rogues, but it doesn't seem to be a Malygos Rogue for Gnimsh, because we didn't see a Sinister Strike yet, or Loot Hoarder, for example.
That's just the, I would say, the normal version at the moment of the Merca Rogue running around. Strifecrow played a similar version. Well, they're teammates, so obviously they talked about their decks. 6 armor now for Cypher, and that's already nice. 33 HP if you count it up. And well, Merca Rogue can deal quite a lot of damage, but every armor you can take, you need to take as a Control Warrior here. Advantage for Gnimsh is he's healing himself up pretty good and gets 3 minions out constantly. So even if one of those is dying now, the second one will survive and kill his Acolyte of Pain.
That's true, and we will see how he's gonna counteract that. He could clear the entire board.
He could go for a get-in, attack with his 1 minion, attack with the weapon, the other one. The board would be clear.
He could also just attack with the weapon, play get-in, and yeah, get more card draw out of the Acolyte, because he would take the 2 damage from the get-in first, and then it would be 1-1. And it's very likely that Gnimsh is gonna kill the Acolyte, and however Gnimsh is gonna kill the Acolyte, he will draw another card, and as a Control Warrior, you want those cards.
There's an Armor Smith incoming. okay here for him now. He drops his 1 minion, get the card, can kill another, like the right minion, and armor up even further. So he takes 3 damage, goes down to 9 armor, but goes up to 11 armor again. And that's 38 HP. And Gnimsh needs to kill 38 HP. Well, that hurts quite a lot.
That's really, really tough. In 2 turns, we might see the Alexstrasza would deal 15 damage to Gnimsh.
15 damage, and there's now Cold Blood in his hand, Eviscerate, Sap, another Sap, and Van Cleave. If he really wants to, he could just go for Van Cleave Conceal, for example. That would only be a 4/4 Van Cleave, but that would be a safe Van Cleave out to burn some armor. He could also go for Cold Blood, Van Cleave Conceal. Nah, he couldn't conceal anymore. Yeah, or end his turn.
Oh, it's tough.
Eviscerate, but it hurts to use your Eviscerate here if you only burn down armor. It looks extremely good for Cypher, I would say, with that Ragnaros, with that Gaddon in his hand. So just drop down your Gaddon, take those 2 damage, but clear the board and have your 5/5 out, plus Alexstrasza, turn 9 incoming.
Oh, wow. He has a really potent hand, Cypher, and he drew the right cards. I mean, the Fury War Axis gave him a lot of advantages because he was able to clear all those minions, like 2, 3, 3s gone, and still having the ability to armor up every round. That's why the Control Warrior has the advantage over the Miracle Rock.
But now, with that Auctioneer, he's gonna mill through his whole deck, really digging for, well, Leroy. He goes for the Sap, draws 1 card, and there's Leroy already. That was rather quick for him. Now he can conceal his minion to draw even more cards next turn. And he has a second Sap, plus Deadly Poison now.
Nice.
Getting more and more damage off, and if there's one annoying thing, then it's in Concealed Auctioneer. But for Cypher, we have Ragnaros in his hand. If he wants to, he could just go YOLO Rag and hope it hits the Auctioneer.
That would be so bad if it had hit the Auctioneer, but it didn't. So Gnimsh is definitely fine. And now there's gonna be tons and tons of card draw.
We have Deadly Poison, that's 1. He could go for Backstab, just draw another card. Since it's 0 cost, you... Oh, Shadow Step too. So, maximum amount of damage possible is 12 from Leroy, plus Cold Blood, that's... yeah, that's 12, that's 16, plus Blade, 19. He can deal 23 damage if he wants to, if he wanted to. He's using his Cold Blood here, and even gets a preparation, so even more cards. Eviscerate additionally. So he's just gonna throw out every damage point he can do to get, well, to get more and more cards and to get all, like, to get all your spell damage off now before...
Ooh, I think he should go for the Van Cleave.
Hey, he can still go for the Van Cleave. He can even, well, he can even backstab his own minion to play 1 more card. That Van Cleave will be rather strong. I would say 14-14. No, 16-16. I didn't count those spells. I was just guessing. But 16-16 is rather hard. We see, well, Brawl is here in the hand of Cypher. Brawl and Whirlwind. So he can clear whatever happens. If he brawls and the Auctioneer survives, just croak on him.
Brawl,
if he brawls,
Whirlwind, execute if Van Cleave survives.
Yeah.
And armor up.
So
then 22. He has Leroy, 6 damage. Shadow Step, 6 damage. We are up to 12 damage. 14 with Eviscerate. That's 8 mana, 14 damage. He can't... Well, if he draws another Shadow Step, like if the top deck is a Shadow Step, he won.
And he didn't want to brawl here. I guess I would have taken the brawl risk just to see what happens. But 22 damage is not a lot, and there's a Deadly Poison. So 5 damage from the Deadly Poison. 12 damage from
enough.
Leroy at 17, plus an Eviscerate 21. If he's Leroy, Shadow Step, Leroy at 6 mana, 7 mana, Shadow Step. There's like, he's 1 mana short of using his Blade Flurry and getting his weapon. So no, he's even 4 mana short of doing what is in my brain right now. But he can absolutely burn Cypher really low.
I think he will.
He can go the safe road. Just attack, play Auctioneer, and play some more spells, for example.
Well, they are not. Yeah. Oh. Is he attacking first? Yeah. And then Assassin's Blade. Loot Hoarder, most likely.
Deadly Poison,
Deadly
Eviscerate.
Poison,
He can.
Eviscerate. Then you use all your mana.
The good thing is, he just needs to bring him down to 15 and then win in one turn. You kind of don't want to bring him down further than 15 since there is a danger of
Alex Trezor.
healing himself up with Alex. Now he can, as you said, well, he wants to draw some cards. That's why he's thinking about Auctioneer. So there's Auctioneer. Oh, and as Assassin's Blade, so he's not using any spells. I'm kind of surprised. I guess your play was better with Assassin's Blade, Loot Hoarder, and Eviscerate. He would have gotten off more damage. But it's okay. However he does it, next turn it will be 12 plus 5 from the Blade, 17 plus 4 from the Eviscerate, plus Blade Fury even. So there's so much damage possible for him.
No, he's 1 damage short for the entire combo.
For the entire combo, he's 1 damage short.
Mana short, not damage.
And there's Gnimsh incoming, trading, but he's down to 21. And as we know, 21 damage, that's easy mode for Gnimsh.
Oh, he gets a Shadow Step.
So
That's
there's
game.
Leroy. And Leroy, and Leroy.
Shadow Step, Leroy, Shadow Step, Leroy, Eviscerate, GG.
Perfect hand here for Gnimsh. Just really what you want to have to win the game against the Control Warrior. Mid-game, it looked extremely good for Cypher, and Cypher actually didn't play anything wrong. It just went unlucky in the end for him. Another 6-dash. He doesn't even need his additional cards on hand, so he's just going to win by Leroy and his weapon. He could have also, well, attacked and Blade Flurry, so he could have done 6 damage more. He could have done more damage with the Eviscerate. He plays a Deadly Poison too, just to show here. I get even more damage than I need and wins the first game against Cypher here. Mercuro will see a full-length best of 3 again. And Cypher lost his Warrior, but there's still Warlock and Mage left. Maybe he's going for a full aggro Mage now to counter the Mercuro. Or even that Mage with Mana Worm, Coin, Mirror Image, which is one of the most annoying things that could happen.
That's true, but we know if Cypher plays a handlock, could also be the handlock with all those taunts. We have seen in the past it spells trouble for the rogue, but we see it is indeed the mage.
And the mage with Ice Lance, Frostbolt and stuff, so you're going to freeze your enemy somehow and then burst one turn like 20 damage or so. That's your secret plan. Get Frostbolt, Salnus, plus double Ice Lance, and with all those small minions, so we see a Leper Gnome, we see Mana Worm, quite a good starting hand here for Cypher, so he can go Leper Gnome, he can go Mana Worm, Coin, Leper Gnome.
Yeah, it's a 2-3 and a 2-1. And Gnimsh, his hand is not the most potent right now. He's most definitely gonna just use his hero ability to just clear and try to slow Cypher down.
But he already takes 4 damage plus another 2 from the Mana Worm. There is the Sorcerer's incoming for 3-2. So the board is getting better and better for Cypher. Gnimsh has his blade, so he can kill if he wants to that Drake, that Mana Worm. And there's even a preparation in his hand. So if he really wants to, preparation, Deadly Poison, Van Cleef. Crazy mode 6-6 early on.
Which would be risky, and he would lose a lot of cards. And he decides to just use his weapon again and the Deadly Poison, so he can clear the Mana Worm next round, no matter what.
But he's already down to 21, and as we know, that deck, 2 Firebolts, 12 damage, Ice Lance, Frostbolt. That's a really potent combo, especially with the Water Elemental in hand. So Water Elemental would just attack, freeze someone, and then there's going to be that giant burst incoming.
Yeah, and if he freezes Gnimsh, it's not only the burst. Gnimsh also cannot use a weapon next turn. And now he goes for prep, Shiv, and it looks like Van Cleef.
He just needs more cards to like just get some options in his hand. He can absolutely drop a Van Cleef now. Can also Shadow Step play Van Cleef again. So it's gonna be an even stronger Van Cleef, and he kinda needs to do it to make it fireball proof. Turn 4 is incoming, and that Van Cleef would just get fireballed, die. But now it's a 10-10, and Cypher really needs a polymorph.
Yeah, if he doesn't get his sheep, he's in deep, deep trouble.
Even that water elemental, it's 3-6. It's just gonna die instantly to Van Cleef, and Van Cleef can just deal 10 damage to your face. Plus a sap maybe incoming. Well, no sap for Gnimsh. Still, he can deal 16 damage if he wants now, and even go for a Fan of Knives to get rid of all those small drakes. It's looking good for Gnimsh now, just with a 10-10 Van Cleef on the board.
Could deal 16 damage. That would be strong. Then he's down to 13.
But you kind of want to trade the 3-6, since there's just that potential of getting frozen and, well, getting blasted. I mean, you're down to 16. If there's a double ice lance in your enemy's hand, that would be already like giant damage. But now with a conceal, you're actually just going for the face. I mean, bring him down to 19. Preparation, conceal. Next turn, you got 14 damage on the board, and if you draw an eviscerate, it's already over.
He has Leroy.
He's already his Leroy. What I'm talking about, he doesn't even need an eviscerate. He has Leroy. So it's, well, that's the shortest game we had today. Oh, 2 mirror images. That's useful. Just tell what you want, but that's useful.
Wow. Wow, he could actually just buy himself around by doing that.
Can not only buy himself around, he has 2 of those frost elementals on the board. Your enemy is down to 12. Oh, if he has a Fan of Knives, well, that's a 2 damage Fan of Knives. That's quite heavy. So those minions die, but it's only 14 damage. That's not gonna win him the game now. But most likely going to win next turn. I mean, we need fireballs for a Cypher here to be able to win the game. There is 7 damage for him on the board. With a fireball, it will be 13, 14 damage with a ping. If Gnimsh leaves every single life, it could get dangerous. He could just trade here, easy mode, or at least trade one of those to make it easier for him.
I think he should trade. Yeah, trade makes most sense.
He can. Well, I would attack with my Leroy for 10, but I would absolutely trade one of those freezing elementals. Like, you can just kill one with your
Van Cleef for 10.
Yeah, with Van Cleef for 10. And you could also go for 2 damage with your Shiv or 2 damage with your SI7 agent in the face to bring him down to 17 and 7 in total. Next turn you win with Leroy Shiv. So that's the thing I would have in mind. Just bring him down to 7 and then win with Leroy Shiv. You could also just bring him down to 9, but then he needs to watch out for how he's going to win. And we have an Arcane Intellect for Cypher, plus Earthen Ring heals him up, but is not going to help him here.
It's not going to help him at all.
Well, he can attack Van Cleef to freeze him. Then he just needs to get rid of the 2 other minions. Only. So just freeze Van Cleef, Azure Drake, and go for power arcane missiles.
For the best arcane missiles in the world.
For the best arcane missiles in the world.
Hashtag believe.
That looks like a really good plan. So maybe freeze Van Cleef. You cannot win whatever you draw. So with an Arcane Intellect, you could only draw a Frostbolt to buy yourself some time, but that wouldn't help you a lot. So you kind of need to sacrifice your minion here. Mana Worm. Well, Mana Worm Arcane Missile works also. You just get your minion buffed up. You want to get that 4-1 killed.
But he doesn't know that there is Leroy.
And there's 3 damage on the board plus Leroy. And that's
10
only
damage.
that's only 10 damage with Shiv. That's not enough. Whoa, if he shifts and draws a cold blood, that would be madness, and that would win the game. I'm just putting it under madness. He can trade here if he wants to. There's 2 damage shift, by the way. Still, there's the minion on the board, so he brings him down to 10.
Nope.
Gets an Assassin's Blade, so
It's not a cold blood.
it's not a cold blood, but he can bring him down to 6 and win next turn if he survives. So he actually needs to trade with an enemy minion. If a fireball is incoming, he would be dead next turn. So he needs to watch out for that. It's even with his 10-6 Van Cleave, it's still it's still a close game here.
It's not over yet.
It comes down to the top deck for Cypher. With a fireball, he would deal 6, 9, 10 damage at the moment. But, well, he could... So trade, go for the face, bring him down to 7. And, well, Cypher is dead next turn. Now he's definitely dead next turn, even if he's able to clear the board. So we would need a fireball, but even with a fireball, well, even with a Library Gnome, that's not going to help. Arcane Intellect. that's just crazy. He can drop his Sorceress Mirror Image for 0 and then still ping that 4/1 minion. That's a crazy draw. Well, he's still not surviving since there's just Leroy and the blade to kill the 2/02s.
Still funny.
Perfect top deck here for Cypher to survive the game. And he even gets a Shadow Stab, so he can Leroy attack and even Shadow Stab if he wanted to. Like, no need at all to do that.
To disrespect your opponent.
Nice win here for Gnimsh, and well, Miracle Rogue does it once again twice. So
once again twice.
Yes, Gnimsh goes 2-0 here against Cypher. Well played by DogeHouse.